upon which map is actually second. Didn't get confirmation on that, but pretty sure it's Nepal, which is at least good for Mythic Gaming because they won both control points to get here into the finals from the semifinals, in which they looked so good on.
Yeah, I want to apologize as well. I mispronounced Lei Toucan. I'm still. Don't worry. I just checked myself in. I got some classes sorted at the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good and want to learn how to do other stuff good too. So I will learn how to read eventually, but at least for now we can fix that little mistake and pronounce that correctly for them. So I am curious to see. We've got. Oh man, I'm really hoping I'm gonna get. Is it Papas? Who knows, dude? Who knows? Playing the Tracer for Humblebrag. Looking forward to seeing what we're going to be getting out of this team, as we just haven't seen, I don't think, any of these players, if I'm not mistaken, in AG. I haven't seen them at all personally. This guy's giving me some kind of seizure right now, so I have to get off his camera. But, looking at the attack... Winston. Yeah, Mythic game. You were watching him too then, all right. But
no, I just saw him in kind of the corner of my eye. I'm zoomed out going ape shit, that's
yeah, there you go.
That, so anyhow, let's see what we've got here on the offense. Not going to be anything out of the ordinary from what we saw previously, other than kind of a quad tank coming out from these guys. So we'll see if Popaz and PG1 can actually get into the deep HP pools or health pools of these guys, as they're not going to waste any time diving into the back. The Winston does get dropped, but Brent going to be able to bring the 76 down onto the point, onto an even playing ground here. Hurix, the offensive, got the numbers advantage here on the point. Mythic Gaming looking solid in this first attempt.
And they kept their supports alive as well in that. Yeah, they dropped Blink pretty early, and that's unfortunate because they're not going to have the Graviton early in this next fight. But they're able to keep everybody else alive, and they pulled PG1 off of that high ground like you mentioned, which was very big, and just making sure that they had control after they actually were already on the objective. So they will be able to find that kill onto the Soldier 76. PG1 does indeed fall, and after just under a minute, Mythic Gaming captures out objective A.
Very impressive to say the least here. PG1 moving over to that Genji, and they didn't really have any troubles whatsoever, which is actually, obviously it's a terrific start here, but after what we saw from them on King's Row, where they just didn't fare too well, and Hollywood can be even argued to be, even a little bit more difficult to come through with that, and capturing it so easily. They're going to move right in on defense again, not going to waste any time. Earthshatter able to lay a couple flat, but it's a Transcendence coming in here from Q-Tip to save the day for the time being. Only one kill on the board, but again, 0, the first to fall here for Humblebrag.
And they're just not getting anything done. They're trying to play this dive in order to try to contain the tank lineup of Mythic Gaming, but they are doing no... I mean, there's no way that they're going to be able to contain this right now. They're just completely getting outplayed and outclassed by this comp and the playstyle that Mythic Gaming has brought to the table. Really good stuff from Brent, I'd say. We already see the Graviton ready from Blink, and they could easily just throw that whole hog right into it and be able to find the kills off of that alone. Also, 55%, that's relatively high for a Moira ult charge, given the fact that, it could charge up very quickly because they're playing that tank composition, so they could even see the Coalescence in this next fight as well.
And this payload has not stopped yet. Hurix, they've got about 4 minutes and 10 seconds to work with. Still, like you said, Coalescence on the way, but a Dragon Blade is out here. Sound Barrier coming out from Lame on the way, but it's going to be a Graviton Surge. Brent, the follow-up, it's there. The whole hog, a lot of that was into a defense matrix from Marcus Hurix, but they still managed to get a big kill on a PG1 who would unsheath the blade. Popos coming through. Pulse Bomb able to stick it onto Troll. Maybe an opportunity to move back into this one, given that spawn advantage, but Hurix, it's kind of a stalemate here. Mythic Gaming kind of losing their way as these respawns will come out for the defense. As they say that, they pick up a kill on Marcus's mech. Popos comes through with the Reaper. Q-Tip potentially able to save the day here.
Perhaps the Reaper staying alive as well. We see Humblebrag trying to dish out the damage. They do wind up demeching. Self-destruct going to come out, so Yo Mama will be able to just resuit once again. Blink staying high on energy so that they can push out that pressure. They did get off the Genji, and I think that was a big reason why that high energy Zarya can really deal the damage. And there we do see the Reaper going forward with that. I mean, that Beyblade is just not enough for them to find the damage, but although we do see PG1 coming back into it, Tracer comes through, and Q-Tip still yet to be dealt with. They find the kills, and it looks like Humblebrag could manage to hold this one out. It seems like that will be the case. They find the late kill onto Troll as well, and that will be that. But that was just back and forth completely. No team really seemed to have the control.
Hell of a fight coming out from both teams there, and a very interesting move from the Roadhog, Brent, who was previously Roadhog, to use that Whole Hog and kind of knock the Reaper Death Blossom into the Reinhardt, but it ultimately panned out for him. He was able to stay alive, but in the end, I guess it didn't really pan out, as they weren't able to come through with the second objective. Hurex, not a lot to really work with here in terms of, you know, a lot of pressure other than Blink with that Graviton Surge. Can he find anything? Can Brent get a kick or two on the Widowmaker? Graviton Surge, it gets gobbled up. They're not going to have that at their disposal. Transcendence popped out here from Q-Tip. Going to open up an opportunity for them to move through. Troll taken down as he lays the hammer flat. Not able to find any kills, but it...
Uh-oh. Did we lose Storm? Oh, I thought we lost you. You just cut out for me, apparently. But we're back in it, and and so are Mythic Gaming. Oh, okay. Well, so is Mythic Gaming, though. And we do see Brent coming forward, having a lot of damage in that last fight. Sniping, taking out heads. We see the Infrasight available as well. It could have been on my end. I don't know, actually. But either way, Mythic Gaming taking that second objective, having just about 3 minutes to go ahead with that last stage of the map, still offering up the Widowmaker, having the Infrasight available. I'm sure they're going to want to pull that out here, and they do indeed.
Again, I like the aggressive defensive playstyle from Humblebrag, really not allowing the offense much, you know, to be able to put out a whole lot of pressure, you know, in terms of getting really aggressive. But with that in mind, it really hasn't worked out for them too well, given there's still 2:20 on the clock here. Brent will finally be taken down. Been wreaking havoc on the Widowmaker here. So let's see what they're able to make of him being out of the fight, along with that defense matrix. So they're going to go ahead and use the sound barrier, but the Graviton Surge is out. There's really no one there to follow up with the damage. I mean, Brent was out of the picture. They didn't have Reinhardt. He was taken down, and there was a Transcendence. So going to cancel it out here. It's 2 minutes remaining.
Being very aggressive with this Reaper as well. Death Blossom ready for them. He's going to be trying to fly down like a helicopter. Fortunately, no lift for him, but he will come down from the heavens to dish out a bunch of damage. But they do have Blink, as well as Yomama, that could potentially mitigate some of that threat, should they see it coming. But he's not going to just drop it immediately. He goes through, he does dish out the damage, but no kills for them just yet.
Oh, self-destruct nearly gets him, but not going to be the case here, as they're just going to dive right into the back here. Blink trying to get up to that blade, but no, he's dropped zero. Too much pressure from him, and the Diva going to try it with the parting gift with the self-destruct, just push them back into their spawn here, but still not a lot of room to really work with if you're Mythic Gaming right here. Struggling to pick up some kills, struggling to pick up some stragglers at that. Finally going to be able to push him back and get towards that final home stretch at that. But a Dragon Blade from Blink in a few moments. It's pretty much, I think, what they're going to need to be able to push past these guys. Coalescence from Excited. Again, they're getting aggressive on the defensive side of things. Blink with the Dragon Blade. He's got a sound barrier at his back, but Hurex, not a lot of targets in sight.
Yeah, not going to be able to find much of anything. We saw him put pressure onto Zero. He's still pretty low, and they might be able to follow up with a kill, and they do indeed, but not before Humblebrag takes two of their own, takes the tanks out, most importantly, and now I just don't see Humblebrag losing this fight, and we do see the offense backing up now. Mythic Gaming, here's that pulse bomb. They retreat. They don't get the kill with it, but PG1 falls, and an opening now for Mythic Gaming.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go here. We'll see what they can make of it. Not a lot of ults really to work with from either side. Troll does have the Primal Rage on offense to kind of keep that payload in motion for as long as he can, but we're down to the final few seconds. Self-destruct on the payload, doesn't find anything from either side. Transcendence comes out from Q-Tip on defense. They've got the Coalescence as well out, so they should be pretty healthy at this point in time. Brent on the Tracer, can he find anything as he comes back into the fight? Blink, another Dragon Blade locked and loaded in just a moment's time here. They've got all the numbers on the point. Here's the Dragon Blade from the other side. Popos looking for something, but a sound barrier at the back of, I believe that's Blink, going to be able to help him find that final kill on the Excited Hurex. It's looking like they've got the third checkpoint on lock. Lucio in the area. He's going to be taken down, and Mythic Gaming come up with all 3 checkpoints in overtime.
Overtime take. I mean, Once it went to Genji versus Genji, things really opened up. That comp switch that we saw in that last phase really gave them that opportunity to take that blink on the Genji. I think is probably their best look, at least so far from what we've seen. I'm curious to see, though, how their defense looks, because from what we saw, you know, going in with the tank strat, being able to deal with PG1 initially on the soldier, you know, yeah, they let him run rampant a little bit, but they still had a good take on the first point, and they were halted a little bit, but there was a couple of tiny little errors. You know, looking back, it was actually a moment on the stream where we saw Q-Tip come through with a Transcendence that saved the fight for them. Just moments prior to that, we actually did see Toucan in a position to actually put pressure on him early, maybe take a kill, maybe force a Transcendence at a bad time several seconds prior to what we actually saw it, where he threw out the damaging Moira orb and just straight up missed the door for jail and just didn't manage to pressure the Zenyatta because of it. I mean, that's like little things like that can really make a big impact later on in the match, and that's exactly what we saw with the Transcendence coming through, saving that fight, and then, you know, then it's all about momentum swinging from there. So now, though, we will see Humblebrag attacking. Brent actually, I mean, they're going to be playing Brent and Blink back on that kind of staple of having McCree and Junkrat played together. A lot of pressure that's going to be coming, and interestingly enough, we have Zero, at least for the moment, on a Winston, and I'm not sure if they want to stick with this. You know, typically you would see a Zarya in most of these situations, but it could be an option for them, Storm, because they want to have another person to go up with Marcus and contest the high ground, contest guys like Brent and Blink. But if he does that, he's going to be having a lot of damage in his face, so it's certainly going to be up to Marcus to keep him healthy.
Junkrat from Blink, we saw it in the semifinals here. It did so well, such a potent pickup. We'll see what they're able to make of it with that Orisa. I'm curious as that quad tank comes in for the other side from Humblebrag, like you had said, trying to get up top, but no, Zero denied. Booped off the top by Liman Wei. That's a nice start for them as Reinhardt charges deep into enemy territory here. Picks up a kill for himself. That's a nice one here because it's a 2-for-1 right now in favor of Humblebrag here on offense. They've already got a tick and a half. We'll see if they can continue with this. Riptire out here from Blink. Needs to come up big. Gets a D-neck, but Hurix, Yomama's on the point with Brett, with the Junkrat, and they're looking like they're going to be able to hold on defense. I think that's going to be the case.
And since it is a tank strat still, I mean, it is a different look. And we will see Yomama barely hanging on. He's bouncing between 15 and 25 health, but manages to stay alive with the healing, I believe, from Toucan. Absolutely insane to be able to sustain through that, as they're just battling each other, but they managed to keep him up. One tick granted, but again, look at Blink to have these ults generated so quickly. Look at this, he's already back up at 70%.
Incredible. Yomama on the back end, though, finds a hook from up top. He's kind of out of position, though, but a great halt comes through from Troll on the Orisa. Deadeye connects onto one. A Riptire again here, it's like you had said, and they should be able to remain strong here on the defensive side of things. 2 minutes and 23 seconds on the board with 2 pushes down. They did utilize quite a few ults, but Hurix Blink back up to 50%, 55%, 60. What is this guy? He has got another Riptire about locked and loaded for this third fight.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Having that tank lineup, it's very tough when you go up against a Junkrat who can generate those ults so quickly, because if you get bunched up, it's very easy for him to land his left clicks, and it's even easier for him to land, admittedly, yes, a slightly diminished mine, but still has that kill potential. It's still very strong. They find the kill on the Blink. That's a big opening, but he does have Riptire to come into the fight with, and now we see the Earthshatter come out. Doesn't really find much, if anything at all, and we'll have to see if they can get through that sound barrier.
Riptire, actually, the Earthshatter clipped 2 on the very edges, but not a lot of follow-up really came through with it. They do pin him back into the cafe. A Primal Rage Winston will be able to knock him back. There's the Riptire from downtown. Blink trying to come up top, but I don't even think it's going to matter. The Coalescence racks up 3 kills for Excited here on offense. It's Humblebrag. They will set themselves up for success on this first objective point, but Hurix took
tactical
them a whole heck of a lot longer than what we saw there from the other side.
And right after, we saw some tactical crouching from guys like Excited, but
tactical crouching.
Yeah, tactical crouching. But now we're going to be seeing Humblebrag come through the second phase of the map. They're switching things up a bit. They're going to be bringing PG1 out on the Widowmaker, and we'll see Popos. on the Genji. So I'm going to continue saying that name wrong. And we'll have to see if the Widow will actually get this done. Nice shot onto Brent to start the fight off. 6v5 advantage going to Humblebrag.
Not to mention they've got the high ground advantage. Well, they're just going to drop right down upon them here because they really don't have anything to deal with the Widowmaker. There's no Diva. Maybe Blink can get there. I mean, Brent now makes a move to a Widowmaker himself, so that's really all they have to answer for the pickup here from PG1, but he is on fire. He opened that fight up for his team, and now they're going to be trotting down with the payload to that second objective point. Still, plenty of opportunity here for the defense to get a regroup. They didn't need to find an answer for the Widowmaker, though.
I mean, unfortunate situation to be in as Blink, gave up that advantage early. Then Brent gave up the advantage in the second phase here, so DPS just going down a little bit early for them, but now a big opportunity as they come back into it. Need to try to take down PG1 if they can. Basically have to win out the duel between the two Widows, and it's going to be, looking like PG1 was looking for it, although not ultimately able to find Brent. In the meantime, Mythic Gaming winning the ground war in a big way.
And they drop a Coalescence from Excited. That is a very odd decision to make, or choice to make there. I wasn't a fan of that. Maybe he was just trying to keep his Diva in the mech, which I understand. Not really a difficult ult to get back by any means, so we'll see if he's able to get it up. But Hurix, with only 147 remaining here, and you got to win a team fight and a half, maybe even 2 team fights to get that second objective. It's a tough call. Regardless, they're trying to battle for that high ground. PG against Brent.
So we do see the DPS going down very early once again, and that's an opening for the third time now, actually, but still have to deal with the Widow. Hopos going to be looking for an ability to get in there as Zero does claim yet another. That's Limon Wei going down, so Humblebrag still with an opportunity to get ahead on this one, but they have to keep Papas alive, and he goes down. No blade for them for now. He might be able to get back into the fight depending on how long this fight goes, but aggression definitely being displayed by Troll, who goes into the back line, is already able to find 1 kill for himself, might make it 2, and does indeed claim the kill onto the Lucio.
And as you say that, I was about to say that Brent needed to be dealt with on the Widowmaker. Zero gets back into that infrasight area and was able to find that kill for themselves. But Hurix there is still running rampant here. Dragon Blade out. They forced a Dragon Blade from both bosses. Only 2 people here. He racks up a kill. That was just unnecessary by all means, but he wanted to secure it at that. They know Popos made the move over to the Genji, so Brent now moves over to Tracer and Blink over to the Genji. So a little bit of a change up, matching it from both sides. DPS for DPS here. It's 25 seconds remaining. Mythic gonna try to push this into overtime. We see the sound barrier popped out there by Q-Tip, but it's not enough to save Marcus and Popos. And this is going to be Mythic holding on. If they can prolong this, pick up a few late stragglers, they might take this map right here.
Despite the fact that we saw the sound barrier, I mean, that dive that came out from Mythic Gaming was just so heavy. It's just hard to sustain even with the sound barrier helping. And now, a forced overextension by Zero just to make sure that they triggered the overtime. They're going to lose their Winston very early on. That's a big opening to try to put pressure onto Marcus, especially with the Coalescence going right through the defense matrix as well.
I just don't see this happening. PG is here, so is actually it's just PG. You've got the Lucio Q-Tip here, but it's not going to be enough. Sound barrier is there for the defense, and here that's going to be map number 1 going in favor of Mythic Gaming, 3-1. They were close to getting that second objective here, but I'm not even sure the additional 90 seconds would have done it for Humblebrag. So they're going up 1-0 here in the finals as we take it to Nepal for a map number 2. And Hurix, we've seen how dominant Mythic Gaming is on control points, so I'm excited to see if Humblebrag can push this to a game number 3, which would be King's Row.
It seems like in a lot of those fights, Storm, that honestly, I mean, probably other than Excited, who was fantastic on the Moira, everything seemed to really go the way of Mythic Gaming. And I mean, just a couple of tiny errors with overextension, or perhaps, a pick here and there by PG1, really displaying a lot of proficiency with those hit scans, particularly the Widowmaker on their attack. It did seem like we saw a lot of great stuff. It's just, those slight errors, with the overextension of the Junkrat on the first point, and then having Brent go down early, having the Widowmaker take out the McCree, then having Brent come over to the Widowmaker, things started to get balanced a little bit more, despite the fact that they really didn't have, I mean, it kind of was a compositional mismatch at that stage, but still, they took advantage of that. And now going into Nepal, I actually think, given what we saw from Hollywood and how those fights did seem to go more in favor of Mythic, and given what we know Mythic is capable of on these King of the Hill maps, I would honestly say I would probably give this to Mythic, and I don't think it's going to be a 2-0. It's probably going to be another 2-1, but I think Mythic closes it out here.
I'm going with the 2-0 here, because I mean, I feel like Mythic Gaming really stepped up to the plate there on Hollywood, especially after a poor performance in Kings Row in their semifinal match. And, you know, they took it to 2-1 in their semifinal here on Nepal in particular. But I'm feeling a 2-0 here. I'm feeling it's going to be a quick one as Mythic Gaming looking for, I'm not sure if it's their first AG victory. I mean, it's been a while since we've casted, but, you know, it'd still be a big one, especially beating out Humblebrag potentially, who took down Cat 5 earlier. So that'd be definitely a big win, but we'll see what they're going to bring to the table. Maybe PG1 has something to say about it, along with Popas on the DPS.
Looks like for Village, we're going to be seeing some tank strats being displayed. Q-Tip likely going to be going over to the Lucio, but I am excited, and everybody should be excited, to watch Excited on the Moira, because he really... I mean, he had a good performance, I would say, on Hollywood. He was really doing a lot with the Coalescence. Great timings of his ult, good efficiency, I would say, for the most part. So, you know, having him in this kind of impactful role could lend to Humblebrag's ability to perhaps take this, but it's going to come down to tank control, and so far, Mythic has been the best at that.
Oh, Troll actually sideswipes him, gives his team a little bit of a positional advantage by knocking a few of those tanks back. It is just a battle of the tanks right now. Zero not really getting the best of that situation against Troll, as both of them taking a lot of heat. Positional advantage over to Mythic Gaming. They're going to charge right in. They again come up with the first objective points here on Village, as they did just in their semifinal match here. They go straight to the point, and they're going to continue with this aggression, find the late kill on the Popas and push them back. But already coming up on that Graviton surge.
Really comes down to, in my opinion at least, having those Roadhogs and having those tanks, or primarily the main tank of Troll and Zero, you know, really having a good performance here. I think that's where they really have to show out. Obviously, the Reinhardt has a lot of impact in this because they have to create that space. They have to create those opportunities. Charging is a really big deal, and it was Troll that just got the better end there.
Shatter coming down from Zero, but there's no follow-up because the Graviton Surge is out here from the other side. It looks like Troll tries for his own Earth Shatter, doesn't quite hit what he's looking for, but they are still pushing them off the point with that whole hog coming out from Brent. No kills on the board other than Zero going down for the side of Humblebrag. It's a 1-for-1 right now. All ults are out here. It's so back and forth at this point in time, but it's looking like Mythic Gaming have the numbers advantage. Blink is fully charged, melting these guys down. Coalescence finally comes out from Lei Toucan, and that should keep him healthy to try to pull this one out.
I think that was so smart from them. They could have pulled out Coalescence a lot earlier and maybe have found some kills, maybe. But this way, they get a lot done by being able to just extend the fight even longer. I think a slight mistake, obviously, by stepping off the point there. They should have been able to have control in this stage, and they would have been even higher, of course, in terms of the score differential. But now Mythic Gaming forced to back off. They lost control, and they lost the fight along with it. If they had held on to that objective, though, I think that would have been such a smart way to take that fight, because they would have been at, you know, about 80% or even higher before they actually had lost it. And now they're making swaps. Brent is now making an adjustment over to the Reaper for them to go back onto it. And it's very important to recognize that there's really only 2 fights. If Mythic Gaming is able to take it here, there's only 1 more after that before this first round could go.
Well, Graviton Surge is out there. Self-destruct picks up 2 for themselves. TRX, they are just going to melt them down. Humblebrag are out trying to take the lead here. And I mean, you mentioned Brent making the move over to the Reaper. I like the Zarya. I mean, that second fight here, he had 2 Graviton Surges go out at the beginning and at the end. There just was no follow-up from the rest of the team. Not a lot of damage there. Troll as well had used 2 Earth Shatters, and now Blink is over to that, actually no, it was Blink on the Zarya, excuse me. Brent previously was not, he was on that Roadhog, so of course he's the one that made the change. But Zero now coming out from the side with an Earth Shatter of his own. Doesn't really find anything as they do take the lead here. Coalescence is out from both sides here. They do get on the point. The sound barrier is out here, and they're going to be able to make a flip fight. What a play from Troll.
And they're going to be throwing everybody off of it. And he's swinging away even more so now. 25% Brent was able to help clean up. Ever closer to that Death Blossom, and this is what I was talking about before. They only have now one opportunity. We saw the Sound Barrier come out right before they all got laid into the ground, and Brent cleaned them all up. So now they have no support options. They really just have a Graviton, maybe, if they last long enough, and of course the Whole Hog to maybe back Brent out in this fight where they have that Whole Hog, or sorry, they have that Death Blossom ready.
Graviton Surge is gobbled up there, I believe, that came out from Blink. That's a nice play coming out from Marcus, so not going to have that out, but we're in overtime. Death Blossom from Brent, trying to clean it up right now. There's a Graviton Surge from the other side. Popos, do they have the follow-up damage? Doesn't look like it's the case. Self-destruct does connect onto one here. But overtime is going to take down. They have to contest for as long as they can. There's not a lot of people here for the side of Humblebrag. Q-Tip, the lone survivor, as Excited goes down in round number 1, going over to Mythic.
Could potentially be it. I mean, this is series point now, as we look to see what map we're going to be pulling. Is it going to be Shrine? Is it going to be Sanctum? It does go Sanctum. That could be interesting. Ooh, and it is! So this is going to be, I think, the more interesting one, at least in my opinion, because this is where you get that kind of different dynamic. This is where you start seeing soldiers being played. You start seeing Orissas being played. It comes down to point control early. What can you get done with a Junkrat if you do bring it to the table as well? And that looks like they're going to be popping things around a little bit now, having PG1 on the soldier. Popos, of course, going over to the Junkrat, and it is, I believe, yeah, it is going to be a mirror matchup. So this is really just going to come down to coordination between these players and these two teams going at it very directly as PG1 is taking a flank route. You see Brent, like, I mean, this is a complete mirror right now.
Hulk coming out, not quite able to connect roll. We've seen Mythic Gaming just get onto the point usually, but of course with this composition, want to try to play positionally. Still, not a lot of aggression coming out from either side. Troll is actually going to move on to the point here. We'll see what they can do with this one as Soldier 76 tries to come in for a side flank, but Hurix again, Mythic Gaming getting the better of the position advantage, and they're going to come through with the first points. Marcus gets tossed off the map there by Troll, and that's it for the first fight.
And that's the decision you have to make in that situation. I mean, when you go with this composition, no matter what you're going against, you have the option of either A, going for control early and just establishing yourself on the objective, or B, letting the other team take it and just trying to throw them off of the point, try to throw every bit of damage you can to take down the Orisa and create a large opening for yourself. But obviously you do, you know, afford them a little bit of a scoreline advantage early on if you do take that route, and they don't even take the fight with it. Now it's Mythic Gaming holding out completely as they're just going to be forcing ults out just to even get into the next fight.
Riptire not quite find anything, but 40% already on the board. Halt not quite able to drag him off the map, but there's a hook coming out. Actually, yeah, the hook, but Zero gets the final touch onto him there. So Yo Mama out of the picture here. Tactical Visor from Brent, uncontested, able to find an easy kill onto Excited Hurix. They are just dominating across the board, but no, Brent gets tossed off the map. Popos coming through with the Riptire. Hurix should be able to clean it up. It looks like Humblebrag in a position to get the flip here.
They're still hanging on. Zero gonna get melted down. Late Toucan Kamehamehaing him down, and we're seeing them hold on. The healing is coming out. Now they just need the damage to secure this fight, secure the objective along with it. Excited, very, very low, but falls back into that side room. And now it's going to be PG1 coming back in. But in the meantime, Yo Mama with a massive Whole Hog just drilling people away. 82% on the board, Storm. They've got one more opportunity. Humblebrag trying to stay in this. I mean, not just this map, but in the tournament as a whole. If they lose this next fight, if they can't even make it to the point, and I don't even know if they can make it to the point, actually.
I don't think they can, man. They're going to try their best. Lucio trying to skip onto it just a couple seconds. He will contest. Whoa, they actually managed to get a kill with the Riptire. They're 3 members down, 4 members down. Humblebrag. I thought they had the last fight, but a big play from the Roadhog pulled them back into it. They do have an opportunity. The flip comes through. 99% down. Humblebrag got to get the win in the next couple rounds, and they have to win King's Row here. It's going to be an uphill battle, but they've got an opportunity nonetheless.
Different angles of approach, both DPS on the left, whereas all the tanks and healers are stacked up on the right, so they're going to go right into that, knowing that there's not much threat for them to deal with. Big Reflect coming out, and now it's the Coalescence from Excited, trying to keep everybody alive, as they did get aggressive on the side of Mythic Gaming.
Tactical Visor coming out here from PG1. Not a lot of people kind of in the area behind that shield for him to try to connect onto, so not going to find anything with it. Excited out of the picture. Now a Dragon Blade out from Blink. It's going to be into a sound barrier, so he's going to have a tough time picking up any kills for himself, but it looks like it's going to be Mythic Gaming holding on strong for the time being. They have their own sound barrier. No one's really on the point to contest. PG1 goes down. They're going to get the flip. And Hurix, I don't think that they're going to be able to contest. Excited might have an opportunity to touch. The GG's being called. And Mythic Gaming are going to take the map and take the tournament.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they had any cooling down at all after... what, 40 minutes or something like that of a wait before we actually got into the finals. And then Mythic Gaming just looked as warm as ever. Really good performances from them throughout, and I'm excited to see more from them already because like we talked about already, this is, you know, the first AG broadcast in quite a while, and I'm hoping to see more of them in the future as we continue these broadcasts going forward.
Certainly the case.